Well, good morning. I think this is about as rough as it can get. I apologize. I have not been well for a few days, and so even stuff that I have to edit has not been edited. Today is Throwback Thursday. I put some goop on my face for the first time in a couple of days. I'm still I went into vertigo before I had a chance to fully unpack. So yeah, then from vertigo I went into whatever stuff my husband has had that I'm hoping bypasses my mother. Anyway, so let's get into this. Today we are going to use the Naked Honey palette. We're going to go in with a BK Beauty brush in 212, I'm almost sure, and go into Sweet, which is this shade right here. I used to love this palette. Matter of fact, this was a repurchase, I'm fairly certain, from Poshmark. So I bought a lot of Naked palettes from there, and then I don't use them. So it kind of defeated the purpose. In the pan, it doesn't look like it would have that bit of color, does it? Look at that. Looks like it would be pretty neutral, pretty soft, almost white. But no. Let's swatch it just to make sure that craziness isn't happening and I've grabbed the wrong brush. Nope, it's got that. Alrighty. So we're just going to take that over where I primed my eyes, and one eye is darker than the other one, so we're going to fix that. This is going to be one of those videos where I show you all kinds of things and then you can decide if you like them or not. This is one of my favorite brushes, and it is made by, oh, I don't know, I think it's a Tangle Teaser. Yeah, it's a Tangle Teaser. But this little doodad is made by Kitsch. And I apologize beforehand if my dogs bark. But this is what I love so much about it, is that you just go through and pull that loose hair out that gets tangled up in your brush. See all of that? Yeah, that's from brushing my hair. Is it gross? Kinda. And the same thing will happen with this side. We're not going to do this side because, well, we made it through. Maybe we will. But that goes in and cleans all the neat stuff out of the brush. And it also activates the doggy alarm. So yes, Kitsch. I am leaning into Kitsch hair product. We're going to take a Singe E10 and go into Drop, and we're just going to kind of tap it in there. And yes, I know I got this little wicked curl doing its own little thing. You see these little, they're little tinies. My dog missed me. She didn't do it on purpose. She jumped up to get some love, which she's not really allowed to do, but we have not trained her out of that yet. She was excited. She didn't hurt me. She just left a mark. That will go away. It's already gone away way more than it was, a big, huge pink mark. They're doggos. They can't help it because they love me. And I kind of left my vanity in great disarray because in the middle of packing, let me just tell you what happened, because we're just going to talk through this. and probably do very little editing. Why not? We haven't done a Throwback Thursday like this in a while. My daughter was able to secure a very nice gift for my mother. And it just so happened to be secured right at the time that I was getting ready to leave. Now, I was headed south. Headed southbound 75. Gonna tell you this for 2 reasons. One, y'all know how much I've struggled since the accident with driving. And I've made a few trips home. But it's a little different whenever you catch the right time of day, very little traffic, and you hit 75 and go. I don't know that I have gone the back way. I don't remember going the back way. I think I may have once. Driving the Cadillac. But this time, as it worked out, because it was so late that my daughter informed me of the wonderful gift that she got my mother, that I was like, well, you know, I'm loaded up. I'm ready to head south. My exit is like 4 or 5 miles down the road. I'm hitting exit 104. I'm going southbound. I'm not coming over to Hamburg. I'm not going to 108. I'm not doing any of those things. No. Well, I told her, I said, take a picture of it, send it to my mother. We'll go from there. Instead of taking a picture of it, she's so sneaky. She makes me proud because I know that I birthed her. Instead of sending a picture, we're just going to kind of continue on with the look. Instead of sending a picture, she FaceTimes my mother. Yes, you heard me right. She FaceTimed my mother. Sneaky little girl. She's a woman, but to me she's a little girl. So, if you don't like that, I'm just sorry. She's my favorite. We're going to take a Sigma detail blending brush, E27, and we're going to go into Honey, and I'm just going to pull my glasses off and, you know, do this how we do it, because we're just going to chit-chat. So, as I'm finishing packing everything, I get a phone call from my mother. And she says, I have this gift that my Jessie worked hard to get for me. But you got to go and get it. Mind you, if I'd have really been like, Mom, I really can't go over there just yet. I'm not up to it. She'd have been okay. But that was the push that I needed. And when I came out of the bathroom, I was like, I'm going to choke my daughter. This is Honey that we're putting on the inside. I'm going to choke her because I said, send a picture. Tell her it's coming in the mail. She FaceTimed her. Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky girl. I'm not mad at her. I would have FaceTimed her too. I would have been all, Mom won't bring this to you. I'd have done the same exact thing she done. So, yeah. So what ended up happening, several blessings in disguise. I have not driven in that area since the accident. Did not want to drive in that area. Heavy traffic, lots of chaos. I didn't want to do it. And we're just taking the brush that we started with and kind of blending things out. So I tell my husband, it's like, I guess I'm going over there. I honestly, up until that point, I had an idea where my daughter worked, but I really didn't know how to get there because there never was a need. Well, now I know where my daughter works. I have to play with that a little bit more. So we're going to take, I don't know what, it came in a beauty box, into Queen. I'm going to coat her pretty good. And we're just going to take it up above Honey and just kind of pull it into the crease. But anyway, so me being a nervous wreck, because that's kind of how I am driving, pushing through, it'll soon be a year since the accident happened. Pushing through this has not been easy. We've had our victories, we've had our setbacks. Friday was a victory. Friday was an epic victory. After I made it to my daughter's work, halfway across there, I'm so upset and so tore up because I'm having to drive in this area that I really don't like to drive in. We're going to take, this is, I think, a Beauty Bay brush, and go into, I don't know why I'm trying to see this stuff because we all know that I can't, and go into Flyby. Some of these remind me of stories that crack me up. So if you see me giggle, it's just because I know a story that goes with. And we're just going to kind of take that and carve that eyebrow out. Anyway, so once I made it to my daughter's work and on the way over there, because my husband was leaving going the opposite direction of town, he had snagged in and they were going to fix a car for a friend of ours. I called him, panicked, because I had forgotten my cup, and I'm like, ah, and I'm just kind of venting on him, and he's just listening, and he's like, you know, what can I do to help you? And he said, I tell you what I'll do, I'll go ahead and bring your cup to you. And I'm like, no, you really don't have to do that, okay, without it. And he said, no, he said, I'm gonna bring it to you. And so we both ended up at her work, at my daughter's work. We secured the object that was the prize for my mother's eyes. Eyes for my mother, and I'm just going over my eyes. Do you see two thoughts run together right smack dab into each other? And he brought me my cup. Okay, there is a point, so stick around. I stopped and kind of fixed my eyes a little bit. Not so sure how I feel about the eye look, but we'll get there. Okay, so we laid a little bit of foundation, the best skin ever in 160. When I got to my mother's house, I had only taken one palette with me. Somewhere in the course of stuff, I did not bring an eyeliner or anything for my eyebrows. So we took a flat shader brush and fixed everything. We went into, I need a nude palette, which if you remember, if you've been on this channel for any period of time, you know this is the palette that made me fall back in love with all of my Natasha Denona palettes again. I was ready to be done with them. Before I do this, let me make sure. Yep, that's the one. So, I'm sitting there getting ready for church on Sunday morning, and let me tell you, first of all, trying to get product to dry down in 74 degrees, 75 degrees, which is what my mother's house is fun. Not complaining, just saying. So, we're going to take Silhouette out of the I Need a Nude palette and dip into it with a flat shader brush that came from, I have no clue. And we're just going to tap that in there. And we're going to start underneath my eyes. And try not to poke myself in the eye. And we're just going to kind of connect it just a hair on the upper eyelid. Now, this is the most fun part because I know that I look like my father. I get it. I love it. But if we take just a tad of powder, and I'll fix where I just messed up, but run through the brows with just a touch of powder. I get people all day long saying, "Whoo, you look like your dad." And I'm like, I told my mother, because part of the places that we went was to my aunt's house, and her family has COVID, so we went and delivered some stuff on their porch to help them get through that. And my uncle, through the screen door, looks at me and goes, "Whew, you look like your dad." Except he said his name. And I said, yes, I do. And when I got in the car with Mother, I said, I'm going to start answering these people that say, "Whew, you look like your dad," with, yes, with mascara. Which is another part of the story that is good. I drove my mother's car, which absolutely, because, you know, it takes you right back to school days. I drove my mother's car on this little bitty road that goes to my aunt's house. And when I tell you going across the bridge, it's a one-lane bridge to begin with. It is little and bitty. And as I'm backing out of her driveway to back over across the street to turn around, because there is no other way to turn around, this other car just kind of comes zooming through, and they weren't worried about if I had the vehicle that I was operating off the side of the road or not. I was not happy. Let's continue. You're going to hear my dogs because their friends are outside playing, and by now, if you followed this channel, you know that it is what it is. We're going to do the little mascara trick that Ella Kinkley kind of reinforced that I already did, but we just changed a few steps, starting with the Tarte. Then we're going to go in with the MAC Stack. I am going to order some of the Extend. I don't care. I want to try it. I don't care if I've got 57 of these in the drawer. I'm going to try it. Now, so that the story isn't kind of chopped off and you're left hanging, my husband met me at my daughter's work with my cup, which was oh so sweet of him. He also stayed on the phone with me I have hands-free. I have CarPlay. He has hands-free. He stayed on the phone with me and talked to me through the awfulness that is anxiety. And I'm so thankful. There are times that I want to knock him in his head. Don't get me wrong. But I'm thankful for him. God knew exactly what I needed. And he's given him to me. Anyway, I'm going to get all mushy. Anyway, that's this, the MAC Extend. Then we're going to go in with the Dior Over Curl. And thank you, Ella. Oh my gosh, thank you, Ella, for introducing this to me. I had not ever used anything from Dior, but yes, I love this. And anyway, so when we got to my daughter's work, he's telling me, you're not going to go back the way that you think you're going to go. There's too much traffic. I don't want you to go that way. And at first I was confused. I'm a big ball of anxiety as it is. And I'm like, well, I know that way. You know, I've gone that way many, many times. Usually I go 75 north that way. Used to go 75 north that way a whole lot because my aunt and uncle lived in Ohio. And that was how we went to get to their house. They passed away in 2014, so we don't go that way very often. But anyway, had I gone to exit 108, it's north or southbound, I'd have hit the southbound and been on my merry little way. And sometimes I just have to stop and appreciate how gorgeous this mascara is and how gorgeous it lays down on me. You're going to know where you are when you get there. But whenever I go left, you go right. You'll see the sign. You'll know where you're at. So I said, okay. And I'm thinking to myself, if there's anybody in this world that I can trust to lead and guide me someplace, it's him. He knows the area like the back of his hand. So Estée Lauder Sumptuous Extreme, I have a code. So he says, whenever you turn right, you're going to be at exit 110. And I was like, I gotcha. I'm with you. I got it. And he said, you're just going to be a couple exits up. You know, just when you hit that, make sure you hit the 75 south exit and you're golden. So I did. And for the first trip, since the accident, I enjoyed driving Joy. For those of you that don't know, Joy is my Subaru that replaced Betty Sue. Betty Sue was my Avenger. Part of me still hasn't gotten over that yet, so when I speak about my car, there's a chance there's going to be a little tears. Anyway, normally would drive. I relaxed and drove. I listened to music, sang my little heart out like I used to, and had a good trip down there. Now, keeping on with the story because I'm hoping that it didn't get too choppy, and I'm just gonna piece this together and go because I'm not gonna edit a whole lot because this is chatty, this is talking. You can go with the Estée Lauder waterproof. By the way, at the end of the day, because of the Tartelette tubing primer, all of this comes off amazingly well. It just goes right off your face with water and a little bit of cleanser, and it's just done. It's like, okay, we're clocking out. So anyway, so I get down to my mother's. And in case you haven't been around this channel very long, my favorite place in the world to go, some people want to go to Disneyland, some people want to go to wherever. That's all fine and dandy with me. Go where you want to go. Me? I'm going home. That's just the way that it's always been. When my dad was living, I went home. My mother will soon be 81 years old. So when I get a chance to leave my house and go somewhere, say maybe a four-wheeler trip, even then, I'm probably going to go home. Anyway, so being the person that I am, for lack of a better way of putting it. Y'all gonna think I'm mean. I'm not. She'd do it to me. When I got to my mother's house, as I'm unloading my car, I noticed that she's kind of paying attention to what I'm unloading. And I know why, because she knows that I have a certain goodie for her. I unloaded and unloaded and unloaded everything except for the goodie. Yes, I did. Was it mean? No. She knew. When I gave it to her, she was obviously just ecstatic. Rightfully so. We're going to use a little e.l.f. We're going to finish this up because I'm sure it's quite long. Okay, so anyway, this is the final look, except for we're going to remove, if we can get it the right way. I've been using this for a couple of weeks, and this one is not tied completely right because I didn't tie it well before I went to sleep. So there may be problems getting it untied. It's okay. So Sunday I got to see my Jerry, a friend of ours that just lost his son and his wife. He was at church. Just thought that was, his testimony was pretty incredible. We had a good service. There was about 10 of us. That's all that it takes. I came home Monday, and I learned this just rolls, you just roll your hair around this part of the sleepy tie. And I learned a lesson on the way home Monday. Actually, I didn't learn it. It was reinforced. My hair is brushed, so I really don't have to do much else to it, because you brush it out before you put it up into the sleepy tie. Anyway, so I gotta kind of straighten that out and get it going where I want it to go. What I learned on the way home Monday was that sometimes the message is more important than anything else. And the message that I want people to know is that I love them and that they matter to me despite. And so that's where we're going to start and end and land with this video. You can see the crazy, there's a lot of volume. It's simple to do. This is our Throwback Thursday with a little message and a longer video. I would apologize for it being a longer video, but I'm not going to. Sharing with you my trip and what I've learned. It's so much, the message is so much more than anything else. The message is more than money. The message is more than anything else. You are loved. That's my message. You are loved. So, hope you like this video. Remember, I'm the mayor's daughter. My name is Vicki.